Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn, and in today's video we are working on quilt block number 16 of my 9-patch sampler quilt along. This is the last quilt block of the series, and we will be making the plus sign quilt. So just a quick recap of the first 15 blocks of this quilt along series. So for today's quilt block, I am going to be using two fabrics. With this quilt block, you can make it as scrappy as you like. So you may not be able to get all of your cuts that you need out of one main fabric. You can use 5 different colors, 2 colors, 3 colors, whatever you like. But for me, I'm just using this one. So for this quilt block, you are going to need your background fabric as well as your main fabric. So once you've prepped your fabric, we can get into making this quilt block. So let's get started. So this is going to be the layout for this quilt block. And from your background fabric, you are going to cut 4 squares that measure 4.5 inches. And you want those squares to be on each corner. And from your main fabric, you're going to cut 5 squares that measure 4.5 inches. Now with the 5 squares, I made mine out of one color, but it can be as scrappy as you like. Each 5 squares can be a different color. You can have one color here in the center, and then the 4 outer squares can be a second color, or you can do like I did and just use one color. But no matter what you use, you have to have 5 squares at 4.5 inches. So the next thing we just have to do is to start sewing this quilt block together. This is a really simple block. So you're just going to take the first row, the first 2 blocks, you're going to lay them right sides together. You're going to pin it or clip it into place as you need, and then you're going to sew down the side with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you're done, you're going to attach the third piece on that row, again flipping it to the center, lining up your edges, and sewing down the side with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, row 1 will be complete, and you are going to repeat the same process for row 2 and row 3. The next step into putting together this quilt block is to attach our rows. So you're going to take the first row, flip it onto the second. Make sure you line up your seams. They should nest together, and you're going to sew along the edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. When you're done, you're going to attach the third row, again flipping it over right sides together onto the second, lining up your seams and sewing with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, you can press your seams flat and then square up your quilt block to measure 12.5 inches. Okay, so once you squared up your block to measure 12.5 by 12.5 inches, quilt block number 16 is complete. Don't forget to snap a picture of your finished block and post it on my Instagram at @JaylinCarmen using the hashtag 9patchsamplerquilt. And until next time, happy quilting!